In this video, I'm going to look at Nikon 85mm 1.8 lens. The Nikon Nikkor Z 85mm f1.8s is a short telephoto lens that delivers excellent background blur thanks to its large aperture. While it's ideal for portrait photography, it can also be effectively used for landscape and street photography thanks to its relatively wide field of view for a telephoto lens. This professional-grade lens is designed for both professionals and enthusiasts. From 2019 to 2023, it was Nikon's only 85mm option for professional use on Z cameras until the introduction of the Nikon 85mm f1.2s. Let's take a closer look. I tested this lens on a 46-megapixel Nikon Z7 Mark II. Sample images were taken with the Nikon ZF. You can see this review as a written blog post on our blog site, where you will find detailed test charts on sharpness and other characteristics. Most of the sample images in high resolution can be found on a separate site. I put links to the blog post and sample images in the description below. I would like to thank Wolfgang, one of our readers, who kindly loaned this lens for a couple of months for test and review purposes. Handling and build quality. Like most Nikon Z lenses, the Nikkor Z 85mm f1.8s features a minimalist design. It appears slightly large for an 85mm f1.8 lens, but remains lightweight at just 470 grams. This lightness is likely due to the lens barrel being made of durable plastic, though the lens mount and the large focusing ring are metal. There is an AF/MF switch for toggling between autofocus and manual focus, but as with other Nikon Z lenses, you have full-time manual override in AF mode. This allows you to adjust focus manually by turning the focus ring at any time, even when autofocus is engaged. Like all Nikon lenses, its large focusing ring can be customized to control manual focus, aperture settings, exposure compensation, ISO sensitivity, or left inactive. The lens employs internal focusing, so its length remains constant and the front element doesn't rotate when focusing. It comes with a substantial lens hood and front and rear caps. The lens lacks built-in image stabilization, relying instead on the camera's 5-axis IBIS. Autofocus performance, aided by a stepping motor, is fast, accurate, and virtually silent. Optical features. The MTF chart shows impressive performance, which promises excellent sharpness and contrast with minimal aberrations. The lens design notably lacks aspherical elements. This choice is likely because the lens is intended for portraiture and Nikon likely avoided aspherical elements to prevent undesirable bokeh effects in the background. Sharpness. For sharpness near the infinity mark, we look at three areas of the image: center, mid-frame, and corner. Impressive performance here, as right from wide open at f1.8 we get excellent sharpness in both the center and mid-frame. The corner sharpness is only very good. Stopping down to f2.8 makes the center sharpness phenomenal, and another stop to f4 makes even the corner sharpness excellent. The sharpness remains excellent until f16, where the diffraction effect lowered the sharpness just a little. Sharpness at portrait distance. Let's look at the points of interest for portraits at portrait distance. The center's inner periphery, and the center's outer periphery. Same story here as before, excellent sharpness at all points from f1.8. The outer circle is a little bit dark due to vignetting at f1.8, but it lightens up at f2.8. Sharpness at close-up distance. Very good sharpness at close-up distance too. Stopping down improves the sharpness slightly, and at f4 you have excellent sharpness. Lens distortion. There is virtually no lens distortion visible. Even if there is some, Lightroom and Photoshop automatically apply distortion correction to Nikon Z lenses. Vignetting. Quite good performance here. Wide open the lens shows moderate vignetting, and from f2.8 the light fall off is negligible. There is no focus shift, but there is some longitudinal chromatic aberration visible. But it's not bad by any means. It's not disturbing, and in most situations not even noticeable. The lateral chromatic aberrations, on the other hand, is very well controlled, as nothing of that is visible in the images. Flare resistance. In this section, we push lenses to their limits by testing their resistance to flare. Even the best lenses can be made to perform poorly under the right conditions. Certain points just outside the frame or near the edge often result in significant flare, especially at smaller apertures, as shown in the images here. This is why Nikon includes a lens hood, which effectively mitigates flare in these scenarios. However, I also observed flare with the sun positioned directly in the middle of the frame, a situation I had expected a Nikon S lens to handle better. That said, it's unlikely you would encounter this scenario in this lens's typical applications. Comma. There is almost no comma visible. Wide open at f1.8 and only in the corner of the image, you can see some negligible comma effect, which is completely gone by the slightest step down. Excellent performance. Sun stars. Despite 9 rounded aperture blades, like most of the Nikkor lenses, this Nikkor 85mm 1.8 can produce nice sun stars, which becomes very distinct from f5.6 and smaller apertures. Focus breathing. It seems that this is the weakest point of this lens, as the lens shows substantial focus breathing. Bokeh. One of the most important aspects of this lens. Let's have a quick look at the bokeh itself first. Overall, the rendering is smooth and pleasing, even with complex backgrounds, and there is no trace of onion ring artifacts. The bokeh looks excellent. One minor issue is that highlights can quickly take on a cat's eye shape as they move farther from the center of the frame. Let's look at the background blur at different distances. First, near the minimum focusing distance. At minimum focusing distance, it's no surprise that the background blur is soft and creamy. Close distances. Even here, there should not be a problem for a portrait lens to deliver pleasant background blur without any distraction, which also is the case here. So far so good. Mid-distance. Here it starts getting interesting, where some lenses can struggle to render non-distracting pleasant background. No problem here either. Now to the long distances, the real challenge, where not many lenses can perform well. But even here, the Nikon Z 85mm 1.8 passed the test with ease. The bokeh and background blur of this Z 85mm 1.8 is smooth and creamy. It's not distracting at any distance. The 85mm compression also helps. Well done. And now to the conclusion and sample images. This lens offers impressive sharpness and smooth bokeh. Two qualities that alone make it a top choice for many as their main portrait lens. In addition to these strengths, it boasts excellent build quality, minimal distortion, no lateral chromatic aberration, negligible longitudinal chromatic aberration, and silent autofocus. While not deal breakers, the price and size could be better. One area with significant room for improvement is focus breathing, which mainly affects video work. Overall, if you're looking for a solid, sharp portrait lens with great bokeh for your Z camera, this lens is a reliable choice. As mentioned earlier, this review is also available in written format on our blog, where you will find detailed test charts on sharpness and other characteristics. I've also listed a few alternatives at the end of the article for those interested. A link to the blog post is included in the description below. Huge thanks for watching. Any comments are most welcome. If you liked this video, give it the thumbs up. And for more content like this, please subscribe if you haven't done so yet.